चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय आचार्य सिंहरूपिणे श्रीमद्भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव इति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ते नामिने। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वृंदा तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल। Shrinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So, we had already started with our chapter 4 of Jaiva Dharma, in which we had covered a couple of concepts, which included about the concept of fear, that how a devotee never fears, but he always fears. And we tried to understand these things a little bit elaborately, that how, what are those things which devotees actually fear from, and what are the things which devotees never even care about. So, sadhus, saints, devotees, they don't have material fears, but they do have a different kind of fear, that is fear from forgetfulness of the Lord. They don't want to forget the Lord. They never want any kind of state in which they are not able to stay connected with the Lord. The devotees would be happy even in hell if the remembrance of Lord is there. And that's what has been shown in some examples, like Jai Vijay, who were cursed by the the four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumar. So when these four Kumaras they cursed, so Jai Vijay accepted that curse. They had just one fear in their heart, that in those Lord species, becoming the demon, may we not forget the lotus feet of our Lord. That was the main fear. And this is what another demon, Vritrasur, who was previously Chitraketu Maharaj. So this Vritrasur, he is praying, Nanak preshtam na chaparameshtam na sarvabhaumam na rasadhipatyam na yoga siddhera bhavam va samanjasatva virahaya kankshi. I don't want anything. Na preshtam na chaparameshtam. I don't want the planet of Dhruva Loka. I don't want Brahmaji's planet, his position. I don't want any kind of perfections. I don't want any kind of liberation also. Na yoga siddhir apunar bhavamna. I don't want to get heavenly planets. All that I want is that I may cry in separation from you, O my Lord. That I always stay united with your Harikatha, with your name, form, and pastimes, and tears of separation keeps pouring out from my eyes. So this is the prayer which a demon also is doing, because he is not actually a demon. He got the body of a demon, but previously he was a devotee, and he is a devotee. So that's what a devotee craves for. A devotee never demands for anything. A devotee never fears from anything. The only thing that he fears from is that may I not forget my Prabhu. May I always have the remembrance of his divine qualities. So this is what we tried to hear in our last class, and the instant where we ended our last class was with a question. The question was that, let me just share the screen. I hope everyone can see. So the question is that Nitya Dharma and Vaishnava Dharma are not just identical, are not just similar, but they are identical. This question was asked by whom? We discussed in our last class that how this question was asked by Lahari Mahasaya. Lahiri Mahasaya, who was the gentleman about whom we heard in the previous chapter. He was a newly joined gentleman who was from a very rich background, and then he got in association with devotees, and slowly, his heart got transformed. Now he took shelter of Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj, who was previously Sannyasi Thakur. So now he is asking this question about Vaishnava Dharma, that how Nitya Dharma and Vaishnava Dharma are not just similar, but they are identical. How? So Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj, as previously in the previous chapter, he gave such a beautiful and elaborate answer. In this chapter also, he is mainly covering this question and giving an elaborate answer on this. So we will slowly try to understand step by step what Shri Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj is trying to say. So Shri Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj, he spoke that there are different forms of dharma developed actually. Dharma, real dharma is one. That dharma which takes us to our eternal constitutional position. That is the one and single dharma. But in this world, there are so many things that get developed by humans. There are so many things that get adulterated by the human beings by wrongly understanding scriptures, by wrongly following the process, and adding some selfish motives in the process. So that's how, in the name of Vaishnav Dharma, there are actually two dharmas that are prevalent in this world. So what are those two dharmas? One is the obvious Shuddha, pure Vaishnava Dharma, which is completely pure and does not have any kind of contamination inside, which is eternal, which is completely eternal even in the stage of condition. And even when we become liberated, even when we enter into Krishna's abode, we will not give up this Vaishnav Dharma because this is Jaiva Dharma. Vaishnav Dharma is the Dharma of Jiva. And because Jiva is eternal, right now we are in conditioned state. We are in this material world. After perfection, we may reach into the world of Krishna. So there also, Jiva, I exist. It's not that I change. It's not that I die here and then I take birth again there. No, the Jiva is eternal. I may get another body there. I may give up this body here. But my soul is the same. That soul only will go there. So because the soul is eternal, the dharma of the soul is eternal. And that's how that dharma of the soul is Shuddha, pure Vaishnava Dharma. And we will elaborately understand this in the next slide. And then there is second dharma. Second dharma in the name of Vaishnava Dharma, and that is called as Viddha. Viddha means adulterated, which is not completely pure, which looks like, but has some loopholes. So that Viddha, adulterated Vaishnava Dharma, is the second prevalent dharma in this world in the name of Vaishnava Dharma. So here, after talking about Vaishnava Dharma, there are actually two branches which are prevalent in this world. One is the pure branch and another is the adulterated one. They both are called as Vaishnav Dharma externally, but when we see the deeper aspects of both, we find that there is a difference of purity. One Vaishnav Dharma which is prevalent is Shuddha and pure, and another Vaishnav Dharma, so-called Vaishnav Dharma, it is Viddha, which is adulterated. Let's understand the pure Shuddha Vaishnav Dharma. See, as we just discussed, this Vaishnav Dharma, the pure one, it is also called as Nitya Dharma because it is the Dharma of Jiva. It is Dharma of soul. So because the soul's constitution, soul's Swarupa, soul's Dharma is eternal, in the same way, this Vaishnav Dharma is also called as Nitya Dharma and Paradharma. Paradharma is also called, Para means the supreme. So this is the supreme Dharma because it is not bound by time, place, circumstances, or even by Maya. This is beyond. This is present here also, and beyond also, present all the time. So this is real, nitya, eternal dharma and the supreme dharma. Now, when we talk about this Shuddha Vaishnava Dharma, this pure Vaishnava Dharma, so it has four divisions. As we just discussed in our previous chapters also, that Vaishnava Dharma, Jiva Dharma is being the servant of the Lord, getting established with the concept that I am, I exist. My existence is to love Krishna. My existence is to serve Krishna. So now that love, that service can be done in different ways. And those different ways becomes the different components of this pure Shuddha Vaishnav Dharma. So what are those four components? One is Dasya Ras. We keep hearing these points. That how in Vrindavan, in Braj, in that Supreme Lord's abode, there are four rasas through which the Jiva can serve, the Jiva can love Krishna. One is Dasya Ras, having the mood of being the servitor. That I am the servant and Krishna is my master. So that is Dasya Ras. Then Sakhya Ras. Sakhya Ras is the friendship mood with Krishna. That Krishna is my friend and I will play with him different games. And if I'll win, then Krishna have to take me on shoulders and he has to take the round of the ground. So such kind of competition is there. Very loving service to Krishna. Sakhyaras, friendship. And then third is Vatsalya, parental affection like that of Yashoda Maya, Nanda Baba. And the fourth one is Madhurya Ras. This Madhurya Ras is the conjugal love as the gopis of Vrindavan they have for Krishna. So these are the four rasas. These are the four divisions in which the jiva he serves being situated in the pure Vaishnava Dharma. In the scriptures like Mundak Upanishad, it has been stated one very important point about Vaishnava Dharma. It has said that Vaishnava Dharma, it actually targets to understand Krishna. Vaishnava Dharma is the only Dharma which targets fully to dive deep into Krishna consciousness, to dive deep into the real, complete form of Krishna, not just different forms of Krishna. What do you mean by different forms of Krishna? We will understand this in the further slides. But in the essence, in Mundak Upanishad, it has been stated that Yad Vigyate Sarvam Idam Vigyatam Bhavati. What does that mean? That everything else becomes completely known, becomes completely comprehensible, becomes completely clear. Everything else becomes completely clear when one understands the supreme truth clearly. Everything else becomes completely clear when one understands supreme truth clearly. So, what is that supreme truth? The supreme truth, the supreme reality is Krishna of Vrindavan. He is the supreme reality. He is the supreme truth. So, understanding Him, serving Him, getting acquainted with Him, what will that result? Everything else which I am trying to learn and know, everything else will become known. So this is like a very smart move. This is a very smart move which Vaishnava Dharma actually provides us. Because it targets at such position, it targets at the center through which you just naturally and as a byproduct, you know everything. You get to know everything. You don't have to specifically go to every field and understand things. Just by knowing about Krishna, because everything resides inside Krishna. This whole material world, in and out, everything is inside Krishna. So when I target that center point, then naturally what happens? I am able to target the whole manifestation. For this, Guru Maharaj gives an example. For example, there is a lake which is very calm, and there is no waves inside that because it's a lake, like a pond. And if I throw a stone in the center of the lake, then what will happen? Ripples will be created, and those ripples will reach to the end. Those ripples will reach to the end. Means the action that I put, the action that I did at the center of the lake, I can see the result of that action in the whole pond. So, in the same way, if my actions are directed towards Krishna, then through those actions which are directed towards Krishna, I'll be able to cover up the whole world basically. The whole manifestation, cosmic manifestation, material manifestation, spiritual manifestation, everything. So, this is how glorious Vaishnava Dharma is. Shuddha, pure Vaishnava Dharma. So, we have got a little bit of understanding of Shuddha, pure Vaishnava Dharma. And this is our great fortune that we are in the parampara which follows this. So we should not waste our life in trying to know all those things which are not directly connected with Krishna, all those things which are around. Instead, we should use this life in learning more and more about that supreme truth, in understanding more and more about that supreme truth clearly. Because once I understand that supreme Lord clearly, then everything else becomes known to me. I don't have to go individually everywhere. Then next category of dharma which is in the name of Vaishnava Dharma is Viddha, adulterated Vaishnava Dharma. Adulterated means contamination. For example, there is some ghee, and that ghee, people, what they do these days, they add animal fats, they add animal meat in the ghee. They use it to make ghee. So that's great adulteration, contamination. That the pure thing, ghee is such a pure thing, and animal fats, animal skin, meat, that has been used in creating that ghee. So it's a great amount of adulteration. Like there is a clear water, if I add a little bit drop of ink inside it, that water becomes adulterated. Now if I'll drink, it is dangerous for me. It's harmful for me. In the same way, dharma also gets adulterated. Dharma in itself is completely pure. Vaishnav Dharma, Nitya Dharma, it's completely pure. But because of some adulteration, it becomes vidha, means it becomes little bit contaminated. So what are those things which contaminates it? What are things which contaminates the purity of Vaishnav Dharma and then becomes prevalent as though that yes, this is the Vaishnav Dharma. But no, it's contaminated. So how to actually know that what contaminates? Because only if we know what contaminates pure Vaishnav Dharma, then only we will be able to differentiate between the contaminated one and the pure one. Otherwise, we don't have any option. So it's important here. So let's understand what are the two things which adulterates Vaishnav Dharma, which contaminates the pure Vaishnav Dharma. So one is karma and second is jnana. One Viddha Vaishnav Dharma is that which is adulterated by karma Viddha, and another is adulterated by Gyan Viddha. So considers, see, let's take the example of Karma Viddha means that Vaishnav Dharma which is adulterated by karma. Let's try to understand this. In this kind of Vaishnava Dharma, the followers, they consider that karma is the topmost. They follow, they do some bhakti activities, some worshipping activities, but that also they consider under karma. They say that it's also like an activity that we perform every other day, every other, like every day, like 24/7, we perform some activities. Now, there are good activities and bad activities. So they consider that serving Vishnu, worshipping Vishnu, all these things, they are also some kind of activity and they comes in karma. So karma is supreme. Even worshipping Vishnu is under karma. That means they say that Vishnu is under karma. They does not consider that Vishnu is above karma, above fruitive activities. No. They still, although they externally worship Vishnu, but still they consider that everything, there is nothing supreme than karma. They consider karma as the topmost. And for that, there are examples like Orthodox Brahmanas. Orthodox Brahmanas who follow ritualistic process, karma kanda, they are very much attached to karma. They cannot give it up. And then they do their worshipping like Sandhya Vandana, chanting their mantras, all other things. But that everything they consider that to be under karma only. Many followers today of this karma adulterated Vaishnava Dharma which is adulterated by such karmas, many followers today they consider that this is the real Vaishnava Dharma. They do not accept pure Vaishnavas, that they are even Vaishnavas at all. They are so much absorbed in their own understanding that okay, this karma is the topmost and everything that we are doing under this karma, it's the best. And this is what real Vaishnav Dharma is. So all these people who are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, who are following Bhakti Yoga, they are not actually real followers, they are real Vaishnavas. They are not even Vaishnavas. What to speak of real Vaishnava? But we, on the other side, we are pure Vaishnavas. So they consider like this. So it's their own mental concoction. And then because of that, it becomes even more difficult to really come to the right path. Because Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj's Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, he used to say that to really improve in anything, and especially spiritual life, it's very important to understand that I do not know much. I do not know anything actually. It's very important to really notice that I can have shortcomings. It's very important to notice that what are the faults inside me. If I'm not able to notice the faults inside me, my shortcomings, then progress in spiritual life for a person like me is very difficult. It's just a bold statement. To really progress, we need to properly scrutinize and see what are the shortcomings that I have, what are the faults inside me. How can I improve them? But these karmis who are following karma adulterated Vaishnav Dharma, they are not even ready to understand. They just say, they are very stubborn in saying that no, all these ritualistic activities that we are doing, this is Vaishnav Dharma. And these people who are just dancing here and there, chanting Hare Krishna, and they don't do anything. So they are not really Vaishnavas. They are not even Vaishnavas. What to speak of pure Vaishnavas? So it's very difficult for them to really comprehend the real state and real understanding. Then the next adulteration to Vaishnav Dharma is done by Gyan. Gyan means what kind of Gyan? Gyan is a general term. Gyan means knowledge. But here specifically, knowledge, see, knowledge which is regarding Krishna's personal form in Vrindavan, that knowledge is beautiful. That knowledge is perfect knowledge. But there are some parts of knowledge, there are some knowledge, some categories of knowledge which actually are impure, and anything which comes in contact with that becomes impure. So, this kind of knowledge which gets added to Vaishnava Dharma creates adulterated Vaishnava Dharma. What is that knowledge? Impersonal Brahman. Knowledge regarding impersonal Brahman. Knowledge, so called knowledge, which says that Krishna is formless. So called knowledge which says Krishna, he is nirvishesh, he is nirvikar. They considered supreme truth to be incomprehensible, all pervading Brahma. Means that the Supreme Lord is not a personality. He is not a personality, he is present everywhere. The Supreme Lord is present everywhere in the form of nothing. This is true that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, but they say that the whole world is made of Brahm, and the Supreme Lord also is Brahm. He is shapeless, he is formless, he is featureless. This is what the Gyanis say, so called Gyanis, who develop knowledge regarding impersonalism. Now, what they do, that's the very special part, which is kind of funny also, that they worship the Lord with a proper form. They do Panch Upasana. We will hear this further. They will worship Vishnu, they will worship Shivji, they'll worship Ganeshji, Sun, Durga, they'll worship them. And as soon as their task is done, what is their task? Their goal? Their goal is to achieve liberation from this material world. So as soon as they achieve a liberation from this material world in the sense that they merge into impersonalism, so they basically just reject that worship. So they use Shivji, they use Vishnu, they use Ganeshji just for their purpose to get fulfilled. And as soon as that purpose gets fulfilled, they just remove them. Now they don't consider. So they basically create a form. They say that the Lord does not has a form, but because we cannot meditate on nothing, so we need a form. So let's create a form. So this form is temporary, just for our benefit, so that we can progress. And then finally, ultimately, there is no form, so we don't need to worship them. Just throw those deities. So these followers, they do worship, but still it is adulterated. Can we understand? The first one, which is the adulteration with karma. So the first one, it was adulterated because it says that karma is higher than Vishnu. Karma is higher than Lord. So you can understand this because it's Vaishnava Dharma, although adulterated. So they do believe in Vishnu. They do believe that the Supreme Lord is Vishnu. But their understanding of the Lord is false. In the first category, the karma one, they consider that karma is higher than Vishnu. Even Vishnu is bounded by karma. Lord is also under karma. They have this understanding. So that's why they're much more attached towards karma kand and ritualistic activities. On the other side, the second category, which is adulteration through knowledge. So these people, they consider that okay, the Supreme Lord is there, but he does not have a form. So there also there is impurity because they do not consider the Lord having a form. They just say that we need the form only at our sadhana avastha when we are practicing. When we are practicing, then we need some form, and then later we don't need. So this is also another kind of adulteration. So I hope that all of us understood this part specifically, which says that how the Vaishnava Dharma, it is adulterated through two means. One is through karma, and the second is through jnana. Right? Now, Sri Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj, he is explaining a very important point here. He is saying that why there are such kind of differences. Why there are such kind of differences regarding Vaishnav Dharma and all these adulterations, why different people are creating such kind of self-proclaimed understandings regarding Vaishnav Dharma. So for that, Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj has actually given a very beautiful explanation. Let's try to understand this. Let me share the screen. Hmm. So everyone can see on the screen that everyone in this world have different tendencies. Each individual have different tendencies, and be it regarding any field, even in education, different students have different tendencies. In business, different people have different tendencies. They have different interest, different careers to choose, different subjects to choose as a student. So all these tendencies are present everywhere. This difference in tendencies are present everywhere. Even in the line of spirituality also, such differences are present. Because spirituality in itself is a very big area. It's not a small, narrow path. Spirituality also has certain different fields, and different spiritualists have different interests, different tendencies towards different fields of spirituality. And that's how there are different school of thoughts. Let's try to understand this. The Lord himself is described in three different aspects. Lord himself is described in three different ways. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very important shloka which tells about this. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. What does that say? This shloka says that those who know absolute reality, those transcendentalists who knows in and out of that absolute reality, they describe that ultimate non-dual substance, that ultimate non-dual substance as the supreme truth. And that supreme truth, some people know this as by the name of Brahma, some people know this by the name of Paramatma, and others by the name Bhagwan. These three categories, Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagwan, these three are the different features. These are the different ways to denote the same personality. Let's understand this. For example, we have sun. Sun has its core. Sun has a circumference, the surface of the sun. And then sun has sunlight. So these three things, they describe, they are targeting to sun only. When we are talking about sunlight, it is coming from whom? It is coming from sun. When we are talking about the circumference, the surface of the sun, we are again talking about sun. When we are talking about the core of the sun, we are again talking about sun. So with this example, Shastras explain that how Brahma Gyan, Brahma Gyan is understanding the light. And Paramatma Gyan, as we just discussed, there are three aspects of the Lord. What are that? Brahm, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So, Brahm is like understanding the light, understanding the sun rays, the sunlight. And then Paramatma is like understanding the circumference, understanding the surface of the sun. And understanding Bhagwan, knowledge related to Bhagwan, is like understanding the core of that sun. Another example which has been used, that to observe anything, we observe from different distances. For example, we are observing a landscape. From far, when we observe, we see there is so much mist and fog. So the understanding is very foggy, is very fading. It's not clear completely. And that understanding becomes more clear as I go closer. Then I can see that, oh, these are some hills which is covered with something green. And when I go closer, then I find that, oh, it was covered with trees. There are so many different things inside this hill. There are trees, there are waterfalls, there is some river also. So the understanding is becoming more and more clear as I am getting closer to the substance. In the same way, when we talk about spirituality, from where I am standing, from where I am observing, from where I am taking the reference, that depends, like that changes the complete understanding. If I am taking Brahma Gyan, then I am just understanding the effulgence of Krishna. If I am taking Paramatma Gyan, then I am understanding a little portion of Krishna. And if I am taking Bhagwan knowledge, knowledge regarding Bhagwan himself, then I am actually understanding the complete form of Krishna. So it's very important to have this understanding that how different tendencies in spirituality results in different goals. So these tendencies are mainly, as we just discussed, because the Lord has how many aspects? Lord has three aspects. As we took the example of sun, sunlight, sun's surface, and sun's core. In the same way, because God is having three aspects, the humans also, the spiritualists also who are getting into the field of spirituality, they have three tendencies. First tendency is Brahma Pravritti. Brahma Pravritti means that tendency is towards all pervading Brahma. The tendency is to understand what is Brahma, to understand that particular feature of the Lord, that is Brahma, that is the effulgence of the Lord. Then there is Paramatma Pravritti. In that Paramatma Pravritti, it talks about the tendency towards Paramatma, the second feature of the Lord. There is Bhagavad Pravritti, in which the spiritualists have the tendency towards Bhagavan, his real complete form. And these different people, because of having different tendencies, they actually consider this, that okay, the one that I want to follow, because tendency takes the person into a particular domain in which he wants to stay. So Brahma Pravritti, if we understand it, it's like people who acquire a taste for the indefinite, featureless Nirvishesh Brahma as the ultimate principle. What is the meaning? As we just discussed what Brahma is. Brahma is like all pervading, featureless Nirvishesh. It does not have any shape, it does not have any features. So they consider that this is it. There is no other feature, higher feature of the Lord. This is the epitome. And this is what my goal is. I also want to merge into Brahma. And these are Mayavadis. These are called Mayavadis who wants to merge into Brahm and become one with the Lord. And for that, our Guru Vargas, they have given so many examples. The Mayavadis who wants to merge into Brahma, what they do, what the process that they follow. They follow Panchopasana. Panchopasana is that the method they adopt in order to attain this indeterminate state, means this state of oneness. To attain that, these people they adopt Panchopasana. Panchopasana means Panch means five, Upasana means worship. So they worship five personalities. What are that? Sun God, Surya Bhagwan, Ganesh ji, Durga ji, Shiv ji, and Vishnu ji. So they worship, obviously, when they worship them, because these are different personalities. So different personalities means they have different forms. So basically, they are saying that the Lord is formless, but they are worshipping a form. That for that give the reason that because we are in the conditioned state and we cannot really meditate on anything formless, so that's why we have created this form and we are taking help and shelter of these forms of sun god, Ganesh ji, Durga ji, Shiv ji, and Vishnu, so that ultimately we use them and we fulfill our purpose of getting liberated from this world and merge into that featureless Brahm. So how offensive this is. There is a big custom about which we keep on hearing, Ganesh Chaturthi, in which Ganesh Visarjan, in which the people, what they do, they bring Ganesh ji and very nicely they decorate. They serve Ganesh ji for 10 days, considering him as father. They say Ganpati Bappa Moria. Considering Ganesh ji as father, they worship Ganesh ji, and then after the 10th day, what they do? They throw Ganesh ji in the water. They throw Ganesh ji in river, in pond, in rivers, in ocean, sea, wherever they can. They just throw and uh, they just submerge them. So a question may be arised that will you do the same with your father? You bring your father in your house, you serve your father nicely, and then after 10 days you go and just put him in the water. You do no. So why they are doing? They don't know. They're just following the ritual. This kind of panchopasana, how offensive it is, it has been very important topic to understand. That how considering the Lord having a form only up till the time my sadhana is going. As soon as sadhana is finished and I become perfect, then I kick off. I just kick away that Supreme Lord and his beautiful form. I'll kick away Sun God, Ganesh ji, Durga ji, Shiv ji, Vishnu, and what I'll do? I'll just say that they are nothing. They are formless. So, by what were you doing for so many days? Worshipping them with the form. They say that no, 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 no. We don't want because the Supreme Lord is actually featureless. We were just using them. We were just using them for our spiritual perfection. Regarding this, Guru Maharaj Ji gives a very beautiful example. He says that how the Lord who is so beautiful, he has eyes like lotus, he has navel like lotus, his hands are like lotus, his face is like lotus, so beautiful. Lotus is the most beautiful thing which we can use to compare. That's why we are comparing. Otherwise, Krishna is much more beautiful than lotus also. So that personality who is so beautiful, if I tell that, oh, he does not have eyes, he does not have nose, so it's like an abusive word. For example, if a person who is very healthy and strong, if I say that, oh, a langde, means, oh, handicapped person, come here. If I call him handicapped, he will feel very much offensive and he'll come and beat me. He'll be very upset with me. because he is so strong and handsome, and I am what I am saying, that he is handicapped. If a person who is having nice working eyes, if I say that, oh, hey man, come here, can't you see that you blind? Then that's like an abuse. So in the same way, the Lord who is beautiful, who is having beautiful features, beautiful senses, beautiful eyes, nose, ears, everything beautiful. If we call him formless, shapeless, it's like an offense. And that offense results in very strong results. What are the strong results? That they get away, such people get away from the real truth, the supreme truth, the absolute truth. They become more and more entangled in their own visualizations and own self understandings. See, who actually uh, followed Brahm Pravritti? Only those who themselves want to become the Lord. They only want that I will use these forms of Ganesh ji, Durga ji, Shiv ji, and then I'll get my benefit, I'll get my work and purpose done, and then I'll throw them away. That purpose can be anything, some material purpose or even some spiritual purpose in for the name's sake, like okay, I'll become liberated from this material world. So this is what Brahma Pravritti is, this tendency. And the second tendency is Paramatma Pravritti, in which tendency is towards Paramatma, the Paramatma person will present inside of us. People acquire, such people, they acquire a taste for that yoga principle which establishes contact with the subtle form of Paramatma. What does that mean? That they take up all those yoga practices through which they can get some connection with the Atma which is present. And what is the method? Different kind of Karma Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. Through those Ashtanga Yoga, through those yoga activities, the person wants to reach a specific trance, a particular absorption in the trance state, absorption in Paramatma, getting absorbed in Super Soul. And it and that Paramatma absorption, it actually gives some kind of happiness, because of which the person, he is holding those tendencies. Which tendencies? That I will follow Ashtanga Yoga, through which I will develop some connection with my super soul which is present inside. This is the mode. So we heard the two tendencies first. What were the two tendencies? First is a Brahma Pravritti. It's very important to understand these tendencies. Otherwise, we will not be able to really differentiate between all the activities which are performed in the name of rituals, even in our own family. And those rituals may not make much sense regarding the Bhagavad Pravritti, tendencies in towards the Lord, real tendencies towards the absolute real form, the pure complete form of the Lord. So first is Brahma Pravritti, second is Paramatma Pravritti, and the third is covering the third aspect of the Lord, that is Bhagavad Pravritti, that is tendency towards Bhagwan. In this, very rare fortunate jivas, they acquire a taste for the bhakti principles. Bhakti principle which desires to obtain service of the pure personal form of Bhagwan. Savishesh Bhagavad Swarup. Savishesh means having all, who possess all qualities incomplete. Full completeness of all qualities are present inside him and all attributes. So this is Bhagavad Pravritti, tendency to worship that Lord. There is a taste which one gets, which one acquires for the bhakti principles, that, oh yes, I want to really get close to that Supreme Krishna, Supreme Lord, how beautiful He is, how beautiful His pastimes are, how nice. So the person, he starts developing a very strong attachment and taste towards bhakti principles through which he can get close to the Supreme Lord. Now, what is the method? The method is just worshipping Bhagwan under proper Guru Parampara. Now, this worshipping of Bhagwan does not come under karma. It's not just an activity. It's not actually an activity of this world. It's an activity of Krishna's world. And that's why it is called beyond karma. It gets beyond karma because it's an activity not of this world. Loving Krishna is not an activity of this world. That's why Vaisnava Dharma is actually dharma of Jiva who belongs to the Supreme Lord's abode. So these are the components of Shuddha Bhakti. These are the components of Shuddha Bhakti. What components? Performing worship of the Lord without any kind of attachment towards Gyan and Karma. So in today's class, in summary, we covered mainly what things? Specifically, we tried to understand the tendencies regarding the three aspects of the Lord. Because the Lord has three aspects. So obviously, it's like the syllabus has three chapters. So the tendencies that which chapter I like will be from the above three only. So all the spiritualists, they have only three major tendencies: Brahma Pravritti, Paramatma Pravritti, and Bhagavad Pravritti. Tendency towards Brahma, tendency towards Paramatma, tendency towards Bhagavan. Tendency to know about the sunlight, just the sun rays. Tendency to know about what is there on the surface of the sun. Tendency to know about the core inside of the sun. So these three different tendencies, they are the major reason for differences in different spiritualists. So that's how, when the question was arised, that how Vaishnava Dharma and Nitya Dharma, they are not just similar, but they are identical. So when we talk about similarity, similarity creates a room of doubt. How? As we just talked about Vaishnava Dharma, we talked that how that same Vaishnava Dharma, it gets adulterated by karma, it gets adulterated by jnana. So it is still called and still has some features of Vaishnava Dharma. Karma adulterated Vaishnava Dharma, Gyan adulterated Vaishnava Dharma. So karma adulterated Vaishnava Dharma, Gyan adulterated Vaishnava Dharma do have some similarities with pure Vaishnava Dharma. But that similarity still creates a great deal of adulteration, because even if there is some similarity, but there is huge amount of dissimilarity also present. So if we want to understand the point that how Nitya Dharma and Vaishnav Dharma are identical, Vaishnav Dharma is equal to Nitya Dharma. It's not that Vaishnav Dharma is similar to Nitya Dharma. No. That's why we are trying to deeply scrutinize and understand what are the different sections of Vaishnava Dharma. And when we are talking about Vaishnava Dharma, which is identical to Nitya Dharma, which Vaishnava Dharma we are actually targeting? We are not at all targeting that Vaishnava Dharma which looks similar to the pure Vaishnava Dharma but actually is adulterated by karma and jnana. We are not talking about that. We are talking about that real pure Vaishnava Dharma, which we will further discuss, that how it is actually completely identical with Nitya Dharma. That's the eternal Swarup, it's like the eternal constitution of the Jiva. Be it here, like all the time. Eternal means all the time. In the conditioned state, in this world, in the lower planets, higher planets, in the Supreme Lord's abode, in Vaikuntha, Golok, everywhere, that dharma prevails. So this is how I hope this particular differences and different tendencies because of those differences is clear to everyone, that how in the first we understood that how Vaishnav Dharma there are different categories in terms of adulteration. Pure Vaishnav Dharma, there is Vaishnav Dharma which is adulterated by karma and one is by Gyan. That is the first part that we tried to understand. Then we understood that how even in the name of Vaishnava Dharma, when a person is actually focusing towards Bhagwan, that Bhagwan who himself has three features, he himself has three features. So how those three features actually creates different tendencies among spiritualists, different tendencies amongst the practitioners of Vaishnava Dharma itself. And these differences, these kind of different features and different understandings, different tendencies, they only result in the adulteration of pure Vaishnav Dharma. So I hope I did not cover too much because this is very important to understand that how adulteration is happening in our own Vaishnava Dharma. And through this, we will be able to understand that even the practices that I am doing, becoming a Vaishnava, the practices that I am doing in Krishna consciousness, are they really pure practices or I am actually getting adulterated with karma and jnana? Because that adulteration which comes with karma and jnana makes it naimitika dharma. That Vaishnava dharma which is adulterated with karma and jnana is not nitya but naimitika. Naimitika means, see, naimita means nimitta. Nimitta means cause. So naimitic means anything which has a material cause. So anything which will have a material cause will be temporary because it's material. It's not spiritual. So anything which has the Gyan, they both have a material cause. There is a tendency to enjoy in that. How? In karma, there is a tendency to enjoy fruitive activities. And in Gyan, there is a tendency to enjoy Brahma realization. There is a tendency to merge into Brahma. So, different tendencies have different purpose. Only and only that tendency which targets towards Supreme Lord following bhakti principles, that tendency is selfless. It's not targeted towards my own selfish happiness, enjoyment. And that's why, because it does not has a material cause, that's why, that's what makes it what? Nitya Dharma. That's what makes it Nitya Dharma. So I hope this is clear that how Vaishnav Dharma, which is adulterated with karma and jnana, is Naimitika, because having a material cause makes it Naimitika and not Nitya. And then Vaishnava Dharma, which is pure, that is completely Nitya because it does not have a material cause. The cause is only happiness of Krishna. It has a pure spiritual cause. So if there is any doubt regarding this discussion that we had today, you can reach out. I hope these things are clear. These are basics, but these are foundational basics which are very much important and required. And this is something that should be kept in our heart and mind, because Srila Gurudev also, he used to keep on targeting about these differences and the tendencies that people have. Even after coming into bhakti, some tendencies are not easy to give up. We start coming into Krishna consciousness for some, uh, maybe even it is okay if we come with a selfish motive also, but still, after certain point, we have to make it Krishna centric. Otherwise, the progress will stop. We will not be able to progress if we don't make everything Krishna centric. It's difficult, it takes time, but at least knowing all these concepts, knowing that what is the path, what are the tendencies that I should have, and what I am having right now, where I need to change, it's important. So we will conclude today's session. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्ण. दंड